next. Now this, Nikki Haley making an urgent plea to Donald Trump and Republicans last night. She says, stop whining about Kamala Harris and focus on the issues that matter. Watch this.
The campaign is not going to win talking about crowd sizes. It's not going to win talking about what race Kamala Harris is. It's not going to win talking about whether she's dumb. It's not. You can't win on those things. The American people are smart. This is a winnable election, but you need to focus. Who is your target market? Your target market is suburban women, college-educated, independents, and conservative Democrats. That's your target market. The target issues are the economy. We're in a knife fight right now. Right now, we need to be focused on who we need to be.
Well, there you have it. Very strong statement. Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee with us this morning. Great to see you, Governor. What do you think of what Nikki Haley says? Is she right?
Actually, she is right. The fact is, Trump supporters, I'm one of them, we're not going anywhere. We are going to vote for Donald Trump because it's about policy. We could care less about his tweets, something he says at a rally that he's doing to rev up the crowd. We understand Donald Trump. We love Donald Trump. We love him for who he is, and we accept that he's going to say some things that will be cringeworthy to a lot of people. But in order to win the race, what Nikki Haley said is exactly correct. Just focus on the issues that people truly care about. And they don't care about how many people showed up at a rally. They don't care about anybody's race, gender. That's not important. They do care about whether or not they can afford gasoline and groceries, whether or not we're going to control the border, whether we're going to support the Second Amendment, whether we're going to be people who will accept the sanctity of life. We care about what's happening in the world, the invasion of Ukraine and the fact that Israel was overrun by a bunch of hideous monsters who slaughtered civilians, and we can't figure out what side we're on. That matters to a lot of Americans who are winnable, and that's where the focus needs to be. Let the surrogates go out and do the nasty stuff. The long knives are best in the hands of the people who aren't on the ballot.
But is Donald Trump capable of listening to people around him and saying, you know what, stop the ranting, stop the insults, stop painting such a dire picture, just stick with the issues? Is that likely?
He can do it. He did it the other night with Elon Musk. I thought it was, a great opportunity, and he took it. And, a billion people saw that he can sit down and have a very interesting conversation with someone who isn't out to get him. When Donald Trump sits down with someone from CNN, and he's willing to do that, unlike Kamala Harris, sometimes they approach him immediately with an attack. It's not an interview. It's a confrontation. It's an interrogation. And he's good at answering it back. So is J.D. Vance. So, yeah, let him keep doing that. But I think it's just a matter of balance and focus. If he's going to say some things, heck, let him say it, but it can't be the main emphasis of his message, because people do understand they were better off with Donald Trump. He's got to keep reminding them of that.